Hi everyone, it's Vicky. I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to show you how I did these batch made cards using the Altenew Hope layering florals. I have some 4x4 cardstock already cut and I will be using my Misty stamping tool. This is my mini Misty. I got my big one today. I'm very excited. There will be lots of videos coming. So I am putting my cardstock into the bottom corner, and every piece will go in the bottom corner, and then I'm taking the first of these layering images and just deciding where I want it and picking it up with the door of my Misty. I'm going to be using these two sets by Altenew of ink. So these sets, they come with 4 different colours: a light, a medium, a dark and an extra dark, so it makes it nice and easy to pick colours that are going to go well. So I'm going to put the lightest one on first for the biggest area. You can see it just needs a little bit of a second go over. These inks I have discovered, even if they do look ever so slightly uneven when they first go on, once they dry they do look really nice and strong. So I am going to take all my pieces of card and I am going to do my base layer first. So I'm only going to show a few of each as I go for you guys, otherwise you'll literally watch me stamp 8 times 4, I can't even do the math today, 32 times. That's a lot of times to watch someone stamp. So you'll see I've done all my layers and I've got my yellow layer. So I'm now going to take the second stamp and I'm going to put that into position. The guide is on the back of the packaging as well if you do have any issues, but I have found these are pretty easy to work out how to layer anywhere, even without the guide. So I'm going to take my second shade of ink this time to do the next bit. It is quite a therapeutic process to do, and you'll discover if you do have a stamping press it makes it so much easier because you're not having to work out where to stamp every single time. You can literally work it out once, and as long as your cardstock goes back in the exact same position every time, it will do it for you, no problem. It means that it's nice and easy to get consistent, really accurate images, and it just looks amazing. So I am going to keep going. You'll see the colours changing as I'm going. Ta-da! So all I'm going to do is work my way through all 4 of the stamps that make up the floral in this. And so I'm just going to pick out the third one, layer it up and put that one on for my third colour ink. And I'm just getting 1 shade of the ink darker per layer as I go. I decided I wanted to make this little set of cards just because I do like having note cards if I feel someone needs a little cheering up. I just like sending them out. It makes me feel happy because people tend to be happy when they get them. My original intention was to give these as a gift. However, I haven't quite worked out how to post a nice little gift box of cards easily without them getting squished in the post. And if you didn't know, if you're over in America, England is now back on lockdown, so we're pretty much do not leave the house unless it's to buy groceries. Pretty much that's where we're at the moment. Hopefully everyone will stick to it so that we can beat this godforsaken virus once and for all. We are rolling out our immunisation in the UK, so I'm hoping between people hopefully staying at home, doing as they're told, wearing the masks, and the immunisation, there might be an end in sight at some point this year. Cross your fingers, everybody. But I digress. I do apologise. Sorry. So as you can see, I'm just on to the next layer in what I'm doing. As I say, this was going to be a gift for someone, but unfortunately I can't work out how to ship it to them, so it might have to be a similar style gift next year. This is my favourite colour of these inks. That's why I'm showing you the Honey Drizzle. I don't know why I like it so much. I just think it is a really nice colour. It makes me happy. I think this yellow flower in general makes me happy. Purple is my favourite colour, but I really love the way the yellows layer. Between colours, I am just wiping off the stamps with a dry cloth as well. I hadn't mentioned that before, so I thought I'd better clear it in. I will give each stamp a good clean once I've finished. However, I am just using a damp cloth between them. So I have decided to heat emboss the centres of the flowers just for a bit of extra glitz and glam. So I have a bronze Midas ink pad from Spectrum Noir, which is part of Crafter's Companion, and I am using my anti-static bag, and then I am stamping it in the bronze colour, and then I'm using clear embossing powder on top of it. So what I'm doing is I am lining up my centre image, quickly giving all of them a anti-static bag rather, and then stamping all the bronze on one colour card. And then I will heat set those and then do the same for the other colour cardstock. Pigment inks do stay wet a while, so you do have that little bit of wiggle room to be able to get those done. So as you can see, I'm just going to grab my little spoon, and I've realised that I'm doing that off screen. I hadn't realised when I was originally doing it. There we go. So I just have a little spoon for my really big embossing powder tray. Obviously, if it was a larger section of image, I would do it over some paper and just scoop it back in that way. But it's just a very small section, so I don't really need to with this. I can be quite precise with what I'm doing. I'm just going to move that out of the way and get my heat gun heating up. It is always best to get your heat gun as hot as you can get it first. Get it really nice and hot. The hotter it is when you start, the less it will warp your card. And obviously if you're going to be using it for a card blank, or if it's going to be loaded onto something, you don't really want it to warp your cardstock. I always tend to give it a good waft behind the cardstock as well. As you can see, it just seems to help with the warping, I've discovered. It's just the way that I work with it. So that's just me doing all of those, and as you can see, it just adds a nice little bit of extra detail in, I think. You could also use glitter, or you could use glitter paste. You could use anything really to make those stand out. I just like the look of that. So I'm going to stamp my sentiments directly onto these bits, and I am using the Hope sentiment from the stamp set. So from the Altenew stamp set, this stamp set is called Hope. And I'm just using a really nice crisp black archival ink for this. I want a really nice impression. It takes a couple of little goes over, but it does work. So I'm putting Hope on 2 of the yellow and 2 of the purple cards. And then I am using a different sentiment on the other 2 just for a little bit of variance. I thought Hope, especially in today's current climate, with the way things are in the world, is a really nice sentiment. You can send it for a lot of different things, you know. Hope if someone's not feeling well, hope if they're just having a bad day. Just hope in general is just a concept I think we all need to really focus on and have at the moment. And then the other one I'm using is this Concord and Ninth Turnabout stamp set, and it's just this lovely smile that's in there. I really love this sentiment. Again, with using my stamping platform, I can position it on one, pick it up with the dot, and as long as I put all my cardstock into the same space, it'll be in the same spot when I actually do the stamping, and it'll come out looking lovely and neat and consistent every single time. And as I say, smile is just a great sentiment. You will notice that I'm picking at my stamp a little bit. My stamp is ever so slightly damaged. You probably just see there on the end there's a little tiny bit that's sticking out. I may possibly, and I will not confirm or deny this, have taken my craft knife to it just to try and get that little bit off, because it was driving me nuts having that tiny little bit that wasn't quite perfect on it. And it did the trick. Obviously, if you're doing something like that, it's at your own risk with your own stamps. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but for my sensibilities, it was driving me nuts. Not being perfect. So that is all of the stamping done on these. To turn them into cards, all I did was take a black marker and literally go around the outside. I could have matted and layered them themselves onto the card blanks. However, that would have added a lot of depth, and this gives the exact same effect, but it's just that little bit neater. I did use a glue that I don't normally use and will not be using again, because it did leave a couple of smudges on a few of them that I've had to still fight a way to get through. So we'll not be using that glue again. I will stick to my pin flare glue. But I hope you've enjoyed this little quick batch making session, and I will speak to you all again soon. Bye.